Hi, thanks for coming to my channel and checking out my video. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please feel free to like and subscribe and share. And if you're a regular visitor, thanks for coming back. Hopefully, you're enjoying the content. And if you are, please feel free to add comments, to share. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe. Today, I'm going to be doing a second part of my squad review, which is going to focus on the defenders. Okay, so I'm going to start with the starting defenders, what I would consider a starting back four. And we'll start with the irreplaceable Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney is a future captain. I've got no question in my mind about that. He is everything I think that embodies Arsenal: hard work, grit, determination, passion. You can tell that he just gives everything to the cause, and it's something we sorely lack throughout the squad at the moment, in my opinion. Not only is he just the kind of person you want in your dressing room, on the field, he gives everything on both sides of the ball. He's an attacking threat. Love how he isolates his defender 1v1, gets by them, and usually puts a decent crossing. I've been talking to a few people on social media. If you want to join any social media kind of conversations, you can. My Instagram and Twitter handle is sensible_gunner. Come and get involved. About having a player that can head the ball better as a target forward. I don't think that's how Arsenal play. The three kind of crossing patterns that I see are a dink to the back post, are a whipped ball across the front of the defense, or across the back of the defense between defense and goalkeeper, and then also a pullback for a second line attack. I don't see them putting anything in there for people to head, and so I'm not sure whether that's something Tierney will benefit from if it's not part of the crossing patterns. Anyhow, what I would love to see him do is cross a little bit earlier. At the moment, a lot goes down the left-hand side, and we pass and pass and pass and pass and pass to get him, isolated 1v1 with the defender, or even play the ball into his path for him to go and attack first time. But a lot of the time, the cross doesn't come. He tends to check back, and almost waits for the perfect opportunity. I'd like to see him just try to stick it across. If it gets blocked, it gets blocked. We'll probably pick up more corners that way, and that will help us just kind of camp the other team in their final third, or in their defensive third, sorry. Overall, Tierney is the guy. He's an absolute winner, and somebody that I think has a very, very bright future in the Premier League and with Arsenal. The first centre-back in my back four, my starting back four, is going to be Gabriel on the left. Gabriel started the season extremely well last season until he got COVID. And then after that, he was a little bit ropey at times. But, for a first season in the Premier League, I was pretty happy with him, pretty impressed with him. He is very, very strong physically, and I love that he uses his physicality. He's not afraid to put his body on someone to kind of, get them off the ball. He's also deceptively quick. So even when he is beating him behind, he can usually, get back at them and make a challenge. He eats up space really quickly. I've seen him kind of get back in to kind of recover against people that have kind of broken away from him or who have spun in behind him, or that kind of thing, which doesn't really happen that often, to be honest. But he's got it in his locker. He's also a very good passer of the ball. I think his medium and long range passing isn't bad for a centre back. I don't think it's quite Ben White level, but still it's pretty good. Something handy to have in the team. I'm looking forward to him getting back into the team and basically starting to solidify his partnership with my next centre back choice. He's also very, very good in the air. And, again, something that we need, especially when we play against other kind of teams who have strikers or big defenders who are good in the air. Again, something I think we missed in the game on Friday. My next centre-back choice is Ben White as the right centre-back. He was brought in for a lot of money. And for me, as soon as they were looking at Ben White, and I did a little bit of kind of research on him, so I kind of feel like Ben White is to Arteta what John Stones was to Pep. A solid centre-back in terms of their ability to read the game, in terms of their ability to control a game and to distribute and play, but then who could also defend. And, Ben White can definitely defend. He had a tough game on Friday, got bullied and got, pushed around a little bit, but lots being made about his duels in the air and on the ground and how that means he had such a tough game. But nobody's talking about his distribution. Nobody's talking about how many times he intercepted. Nobody's talking about how many times he was able to read the game and come across to cut out a pass or to cut out a through pass or anything like that. So, was it a bad first game for him, first sort of full debut in the Premier League? No, I don't think so. It wasn't what you want to see. It wasn't, it wasn't covered in glory like what we would like, but it was still a very kind of solid footing for him to grow into. Still very young. I genuinely think he's going to be a revelation this season. Starting right back's contentious, I know. And although Chambers didn't cover himself in any kind of glory at all on Friday, for me, he's going in there as that starting right back at the moment. He was poor on Friday. Defensively made an absolute howler that allowed the defender to come inside him. Should never be allowed. Body positioning is showing him down the line, but then you've also got to cut the angle, cut the space off so that the player has no option but to go down the line. Instead, he kind of made his body kind of central to allow the player to go either way, and the play came inside him. And then from that point on, Chambers has got a block, it's got a slide to block, but he didn't. He just kind of stood up with a gap between his legs, balls through his legs. Keeper can't do anything. It's not very good defending. And he's very inconsistent defensively. But I think overall, the strengths he adds over the other right backs gives him, the kind of edge as the starter. I think he's taller, better in the air, which I think is something that we need. As you can see, we're conceding lots of set pieces, and I know he's in the team for them, but it would be a lot worse if it was Cedric or if it was Bellerin, who was smaller and not as good in the air. One of the things that Chambers does very well is cross. He's a very good cross of the ball. I'd like to see him get forward a little bit more, put more balls into the box. And that means overlapping Pepe. And, he's going to, or Saka, whoever's playing in that right forward position. And that also will help to kind of take a bit of pressure away from them by creating those 2v1s. And hopefully they get a little bit more space where they can come inside, cross and shoot. He seems to be tucking in and hiding in behind the right forward at the moment. And I know the game plan is to play with that 2-3-5, but I would just love to see him get down the outside and do what he's good at, and that is whipping in a first-time ball. I mean, even in the game on Friday, one of our best chances came from him crossing to the back post and Xhaka hitting over the bar. So I'd like to see him do a little bit more of that. On to the remaining defenders. We'll start with Bellerin. Bellerin needs to leave. I like Bellerin. I think he's been a good player for us over the years in terms of being a good servant. He's always been there. He's always been happy to go out and play. He's never really caused any issues or anything like that. And he seems like he's well liked in the dressing room. But I think it's safe to say he is looking for a new challenge. He's had his mental health issues, and I think anybody that's got anything sort of negative to say about him because of the mental health issues needs to kind of sort out their priorities and sort themselves out. Everybody, no matter where you're from, no matter what your background, whatever your social economic status, is just because he's got money doesn't mean he can't find things difficult, especially when identity is wrapped up in playing a sport and you're not able to play your sport. I say good luck to him. I hope he gets a move this window, and I hope he can start to kind of get back to enjoying the game and being the kind of player that we know he can be. Rob Holding is a bit of an unsung hero, in my opinion. He's maybe hero is a bit strong. He's a solid player, does the defensive stuff that he needs to do. I'd say he's more consistent than he's inconsistent. But he is strong. He works hard for the team, loves the physical. I mean, seriously, we could have done with him on Friday. And I think he's a good squad player to have. I don't think he offers anything kind of more than what the first choice centre backs or than my first choice centre backs do. But I think he can come in and he can do a job. I'd love to see him work on his passing, not so much progressive passing or penetrative passing. I don't think that's his game. But, there are times where even the easiest passes he kind of gives away and puts the team under a little bit of pressure. So I'd like to see him improve that. I think whenever he comes into the team, for him to do a good job, I think that's the best we can hope for from Holding. The next defender I'm looking at here is going to be Cedric. Cedric is, again, another funny one. He's one of those that's stuck in that right back bracket. He is a player that can do everything well, but isn't excellent in one area. Going forward, he's pretty good. He can cross. He's got an engine, so he can continually get forward. And then going backwards, the same. He can defend. He's not bad when it comes to heading at the back post. Although I think in one preseason game he was pretty awful at that. He's average both sides of the ball, and I think that's the best that can be said about him. He doesn't really do anything that helps him stand out, which would make you say he should play above any of the other right backs. So the next defender I'm going to talk about is a recent signing. That's Tavarez. I'm really excited about him. He's got a lot of work that he needs to do defensively and positionally. But what I like about the fullback is their attacking intent, and he's got bags of it. He loves to get forward, very direct with his running forward and looking to get forward and taking his player on and putting crosses into the box. And he's got an excellent delivery. He really does have a very, very good delivery on his left side. The fact that he's willing to use his right and can use it pretty well, makes him an outside shout for a right back position. I'd love to see him show that he's got what it takes to play on the right, because I think him on one side and Tierney on the other side could be devastating going forward. The questions are always going to be Tavares going backwards. One thing I love about Tavares is his recovery speed. He is so quick. And again, it's something that's very, very useful on both sides of the ball. Murray, I think, is a good backup for a centre-back. He has definite strengths, but I don't necessarily feel they fit into the team's style of play. For example, we've recently started to do a higher press, which means the back line having to push up higher to kind of minimize the playing area and make it harder for the opponent to find space. And I feel like if he gets turned around, he's way too slow in recovery. And so quick strikers will be able to run off his back and cause all kinds of havoc. I do think when he has a striker with their back to goal, I think is one of his strengths. He's very good, very strong. He's very good, very strong, and has an ability to prevent players from turning him. He doesn't get turned very often. The problem is if he does get turned, he's toast. He was very poor on Friday. He got out-muscled way too much, which is something I'm not used to seeing from Murray. Usually he's quite strong, not quite physical like Holding is, knocking people on the ground and that kind of thing. And so I'd love to see Murray add a little bit of nastiness to his game like Holding has. But at the moment, where we play a high line, he's not. He shouldn't be a starter for me. Low line defending, I think he's very good. Again, had an awful game on Friday, missed the header that led to the goal, but generally he does better than that. And the last defender in the group is Kolasinac. You know, over the years, I think he's done some good things. I think he's shown himself to be an attacking threat, bombing down the outside, especially when he's been brought into games late to add a threat with the low crossing and that kind of thing. He doesn't really offer that much other than that. He's a solid guy, brave, will throw himself in front of anything. But if we're looking to move forward as a club, we need to cut ties with players like Kolasinac, especially on the money that he's on. Not his fault, I know, but I'd like to see him leave this window, if possible. I mean, I would love to say accept the minimum offer. If you can let him go on a free, great. But paying him 5 million to leave is just not a question, in my opinion. A couple of players that we've been linked to in the window, or what's remaining of the window. Max Aarons, who plays for Norwich. A lot of people like him. A lot of people think he is a step up on the right backs that we have. Personally, I mean, he's young. He has the capacity to learn. He works hard, plays for the shirt. All of the the kind of character traits that you want to see in any player that plays for your club. I don't think that can be questioned. My question is going to be his quality. I don't necessarily think he's the best defensively, and I don't necessarily think he's the best offensively. He's probably a step up on Cedric. In that he does everything to an okay level, but I don't really see anything outstanding from him. Again, I may well be wrong. I haven't seen much of him, so please feel free to leave something in the comments. I'm more than happy to kind of engage and listen and learn. And then Serginho Dest is another one that we've been linked with at Barcelona. Just because he plays for Barcelona doesn't necessarily mean he's a top player. I think overall, I think he's probably someone that we should look at. I think defensively, I don't think he's awful. I think he's maybe similar to Chambers defensively. Maybe he's less consistent slightly than Chambers, which will go against him. But then in terms of his athleticism, in terms of his ability to get forward and his attacking prowess and that kind of stuff, he's definitely somebody that can help progress the attack a little bit more. Can he step into the midfield? I'm not sure. Can he cross like Chambers can? I'm not sure. So for me, there isn't really much going on in the right back market. I think if we can get by with Chambers and then look maybe next year, that would probably be a better way to go about adding a right back. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching my video. If you have, please please share, subscribe. If you have any comments, please add the comments. You can add them here in the comments box, or you can get in touch with me on my social media, sensible_gunner on Twitter and on Instagram. Thanks for listening to my review and taking the time to watch my videos. And as always, come on, you Gunners.